center for everything that is political and American. You're listening to The Garrison Douglas Show.
Welcome to the program, everybody. Welcome. Let's talk about immigration, shall we? Can we do that? Can we talk about immigration? America has been a nation of immigrants for as long as any of us can remember. We welcomed people from all over the world. But we've never had an open door immigration system. It's always been rigorous. There were always hardworking individuals who would never make it to the land of milk and cookies. The president has been adamant. He's been an adamant proponent of legal immigration, which all of a sudden became a bad thing. Let's think about that for a moment. Saying you are for legal immigration is a bad thing now. That is where we are as a country today. You attend any liberal rally, any Democrat rally, and you find signs being held by protesters reading, "No human is illegal." Or, better yet, "You came here illegally too." Let's clear this out of the way first of all. No human is illegal. That is your response to illegal immigration? No human is illegal? How about you walk home tonight and find a stranger who broke into your home just sitting on your couch watching TV, and then come back and tell me that there is no such thing as an illegal? I guarantee you, your first reaction is going to be to get them out of your house. They don't belong there. You didn't invite them into your home. You don't know who they are, but yet there they are. Second, let's deal with this whole "you came here illegally too" crap. There's two things wrong with that statement. First, it implies that only white Americans are in favor of legal immigration, which is false. The reason it implies this is because I know you're not talking about African Americans, because my ancestors were brought here against their will. They were brought on the bottom of ships as property, stored on top of one another, and disease and all types of horrible conditions, and brought here to be slaves. So you're not talking about African Americans. You're not talking about Native Americans because they were already here. You're not talking about Chinese Americans or Asian Americans because, well, they weren't really a critical part of the colonial period of America. So the only people you can be really talking about as coming illegally here to this land would be white Americans. So to imply that only white Americans are in favor of legal immigration, you're attacking them, saying, "Oh, you guys came here illegally, but you want legal immigration." That doesn't make sense. Well, guess what? I'm a black American, and I want legal immigration. the 30% of Hispanic voters who voted for Donald Trump wanted legal immigration. So, to imply that it's only white Americans who are in favor of legal immigration is false. Second, I was talking about earlier, what you were implying. But your premise itself is wrong too. White Americans did not come here illegally because there was no recognized government or border. The Native Americans had no immigration laws to be broken. Now, did Native Americans have their land and area violently taken over? Absolutely. But that does not make the colonials illegal immigrants. I break these down because liberal talking points can really agitate me. Now, as many of you know, if you're a frequent listener, of course, I am in full support of Dreamers. I do not approve of DACA, but I approve of letting Dreamers stay. But that is about as far as my leniency on immigration allows me to go. And if you're not a frequent listener, if this is your first time tuning into the program, first, welcome. Second, if you wish to understand my thinking on DACA and the Dreamers, go to GarrisonDouglas.com. I wrote almost a diary-like entry, literally just vomiting every thought that was coming from my brain. So you can see the questions I had, where my heart was, where my mind was. And you'll read also where I came to the conclusion. So, if you're interested, that's the place where you can read it. GarrisonDouglas.com. But that's as far as my leniency allows me to go. And like I said earlier, the Democrats are the party of crime. It's not just now. When you go back and look at a lot of their talking points, it's been subtle messaging. But they've always been the party of soft crime. Being soft on violent offenders. Being soft on drug offenders. On being soft on immigration. Specifically illegal immigration. That is where they stand. And that's not just some conservative saying this. This is them saying it. If you don't believe me, get a load of this. Vice News, which is a left-leaning millennial news organization, they ran a story trying to create sympathy for MS-13 gang members who are being deported by the Trump administration to El Salvador. This is what they put out there.
These are the latest deportees arriving back from the US.
Allá está el caballero, ahí le va su maleta.
Many of them are young adult males with no criminal background, picked up straight from manual labor jobs they once worked for minimal wages. But some, like 32-year-old Jose, are gang members.
So what do you think of the Trump policy now? He's deporting Salvadorans. He's really going after MS-13.
Karma's a bitch, and that's coming back, you know? We have done a lot of, I'm not going to say me personally, but a lot of people in general, you know, have done a lot of hurtful shit to innocent people. And I think that people got tired of it, you know?
Jose joined MS-13 in the US at just 13 years old. He was deported back directly from a US prison. But since he's not wanted for crimes in El Salvador, he's being treated like any other deportee, released back into the streets.
Pase por acá.
He's convinced he'll be killed any day by police or rival gangs, and he thinks his best chance to protect himself is getting straight back into the game.
Once the police find out where I live at, they're gonna come and snatch me, and they're gonna kill me. My friend got sent back 6 months ago. They killed him already. So you putting me in a position that I don't want to die for no reason, man. So between me and you, who you think gonna go first? You, because I'm gonna pull the trigger, you know?
Jose has good reason to worry, because while the US wants MS-13 gone, the Salvadoran government wants them dead. Inside neighborhoods like this, the police and military are ramping up their hunt for gang members. These patrol units search anyone they find for tattoos or evidence of gang activity.
In which areas do you have gang activity? And do you also have MS-13 in rural areas too?
Aquí son MS, bien accidentado el terreno, lo que les da a ellos una ventaja en cuanto a poderse esconder de la autoridad.
Now, when you when you listen to that, you may not, and this was it was about a 15-minute long report. That was just a snippet from the beginning of that report. But the description and the headline was that Trump deportation ends up creating chaos in El Salvador. I seriously do not understand how this is an acceptable message to put out there. Big bad Trump, big bad guy, Mr. Trump, deported a gangbanger back home, and now he might be killed. Well, I can tell you that I saw this on social media being shared a lot, and a lot of my left-leaning friends criticize it, saying, see, they should have just been in prison in our country. If they committed a crime, they should just be in jail. We shouldn't have deported him back to his country, because now he's going to die. He's a gangbanger, and an unremorseful one at that. And I say unremorseful specifically. He understands why he's there, but he's not remorseful. He wouldn't even admit to what he did when he was a part of MS-13. He said, a lot of people, and I don't want to say it was me, but a lot of people did some bad things to a lot of innocent people. So he doesn't even want to be upfront and honest that he was one of the bad guys. He wouldn't even admit to what he did. But we know good and well that MS-13 is not the Girl Scouts. They are a violent and dangerous gang. Without knowing much about him, but knowing a lot about the gang, it's safe to assume that he's either killed or at least, at the very least, assaulted 5 innocent people here in America. But I'm supposed to shed a tear over him being deported? He's not remorseful for what he did, and I'm supposed to feel sad? I'm supposed to stay up at night wondering about what's going to happen to him? Does he stay up at night wondering what happened to the families of the people he's harmed? I mean, as a Christian, I have a basic level of care for all people. I love all people. Whether you've done wrong or good. And I don't like to see people be killed. All right? But you're not on my mind. And because you're going to get killed is not going to stop me from asking for you to be deported. If you were remorseful, we might be having a conversation about permanent detention in the States. Or maybe giving you your choice of being deported somewhere else. I don't know. But what we do know is that this man was unremorseful. And Vice News tried to play a sympathy card. It makes absolutely no sense. But this is how the left operates. Everyone has a story. And according to the left, that story abstains them from facing the consequences of their actions. But folks, you know what I find funny about this whole thing? It's the fact that even in the midst of their battle, they don't care enough to take action because they would rather put party before the issues. Many Democrats had said during the Obama administration that if Obama had come out, President Obama had come out and said, I have the cure to cancer. We have found it. The only thing we need to do is we need to put aside some money to actually make it a reality. But we have the science. It's been proven. It's going to work. We just need to put it into production. That Republicans in Congress didn't care because at the end of the day, it came from Obama, and they would have done the exact opposite. They would have shut down the government to stop it from happening. That's what they said about Republicans. But yet, they themselves are pushing for Dreamers to stay. I joined them in trying to get Dreamers to stay. Remember, I said I'm for Dreamers. And when I heard that the president and Democrats were working together to fix the issue, I was pleased. However, the far left didn't have the same reaction because they didn't like the fact that Donald Trump was involved in the process. Get along. This is what happened to Nancy Pelosi this week. It actually happened earlier today. This is what happened to Nancy Pelosi this week at a press conference. All right. This is what happened to her. She was discussing Dreamers and the deal that they struck with the president. Get a load of this.
Okay, you've asked some questions. Okay. I totally agree with you. But as we fight the fight for the Dreamers, which is our... Do you want to listen or do you just want to shout? Yeah, I got it. As we fight the It's clear. It's clear you don't want any answers. Just stop it now. Just stop it now. Just stop it now. Let's stop
it now. It's hilarious. It is just hilarious. The left can't even realize when they won. That is how disoriented they are. Right now, according to Breitbart News, Donald Trump supporters, Ann Coulter, Sean Hannity, and anybody else who leads that movement are having a mental breakdown over this very issue because Donald Trump made a deal with the Dreamers, or made a deal with the Democrats on DACA. It's reported that there are Trump supporters burning their Make America Great Again hats in protest because they feel betrayed. You won. You beat them. They are hurting. They did not want this. They did not want Dreamers. They did not want DACA to be fulfilled. Now, they are a small percentage of the country at large, but they are the ones that helped get Trump elected. And if they're mad and you're mad, how does that add up? Think about that. So, this, ladies and gentlemen, is just how disoriented they are. When they hear the name Trump, they just lose their mind. Or perhaps, this is another opportunity, this is another possibility. They know that with any Trump deal, they know that the law is going to be enforced, and we can't let that happen. Heaven forbid we have a strong border and try and stop illegal immigration. Because let's remember, folks, I've said this time and time again on the program, the humanitarian crisis we face in South America and in Mexico isn't just the reason they're coming. It's not the crime. It's not just the gangs. The humanitarian crisis we face is also the way they are coming illegally. Do we easily forget about what happened in San Antonio? With the semi-truck full of children and teenagers who died because they were just left there to dehydrate and burning to death? Do we remember that? Do we remember the total amount? The thousands of children who die coming here? Do we forget about that? Ladies and gentlemen, that is a humanitarian crisis as well. And the longer that these individuals feel like they can come here illegally, the more and more people are going to continue to try and come illegally. They're going to put themselves in harm's way to get here. They're going to risk their lives to get here. We need to put a stop to that. We need to have real immigration reform so that these families who are trying to get out of their countries and come here to America have an opportunity to do so. Because if they're dying to get here, you're only enabling the smugglers, Democrats. You're only creating more business opportunities for them. They don't care whether or not those people get to this country. They get paid. Imagine if you have a truck driver for Coca-Cola who gets paid before he brings the product to the warehouse or to the distribution center. or to his destination. Imagine that. Do you think he's going to be the best driver in the world? Probably not. Do you think all your product is going to get there on time? Probably not. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't care anymore. She doesn't care anymore. Because they already got paid. This is a humanitarian crisis. And the Democrats' flirtation and soon to be full-on embrace with illegal immigration is not going to help things. I'll be right back after this.
May I please have a double shot half almond milk latte with 2 half pumps of caramel? Oh, in the foam, can you put a heart?
A broken one.
How'd you know?
If you can get picky with your coffee, why not get picky with your TV?
Introducing a la carte TV, only from Sling. Start at $20 a month, then pick your personal channel lineup and save.
Are you new here?
No.
Go to slingtv.com and start watching 7 days free.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. All right. I just have one question, ladies and gentlemen. What the heck is going on with Equifax? This news just came in a little bit ago. The U.S. Justice Department is apparently now investigating top executives at Equifax who reportedly sold off their shares in the company moments before the announcement of being victim to one of the largest security breaches in the history of the digital era. Chief Financial Officer, the CFO, the Corporate Vice President, and President of the U.S. Information Solutions, John Gamble, and Joseph Logren, and Rodolfo Ploder, all sold substantive amounts of Equifax stock between the time the company learned of the hack and the date the hack was publicly announced. Right now, it's estimated that the trades they made amounted to $1.8 million, and it saved them from feeling the financial sting of the announcements of the hack. And now we're finding out the company also reportedly had been victim to the massive hack months ago, but I never disclosed it to the public. According to Maria T. Vulu, the department superintendent at the Justice Department, the scope and scale of this cyber attack is unprecedented. She said that the department was providing guidelines to ensure that this incident receives the highest level of attention and vigilance at New York's regulated institutions. Now, there is concerns I have about this. First, and it just stinks. It just stinks. It reeks, folks. But the first thing is, we look at their stock position. After the show, go ahead and look at their current stock position, Equifax. What does their stock look like right now? And if you look, you will see that they are currently in a pretty decent position, all things considered. Now, I'm a political commentator. I'm not a financial analyst. But I do know some things about the New York Stock Exchange. I know a few basic things. And the first basic thing is that the market doesn't respond well to surprises. And what was a surprise and what should have shocked traders, is seeing the 3 top executives of Equifax all selling substantive amounts of shares in their own company without any explanation. Any junior trader, any freshman trader, a first day trader would have immediately started placing calls and immediately began unloading their market positions in the company because they would know that there's something wrong here. But guess what didn't happen? You guessed it. Everything I just said. Nothing happened. In fact, it wasn't until the announcement itself that the market took a ding. It wasn't until that moment. And folks, this is just beyond strange. Because the biggest security breach in the digital era, an undisclosed hack, top executives are under investigation, and with all this happening at one time, when you combine all that together, huge security breach, undisclosed hack, top executives being under investigation, all of that combined, do you know what is happening right now? Their stock prices are going up. That does not happen, folks. Unless there is someone artificially tipping the scales toward Equifax's favor. That is the only way things like that happen. There's some hand on the scale, and it's preventing Equifax to really feel any sort of punishment. And the reason why this upsets me, folks, is because, as you know, I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalists. I don't believe in the government picking winners and losers. And right now, it's smelling like someone's picking a winner. If this is what I think it is, this is crony capitalism. This is what happened with AIG, folks. This is what happened with the mortgage crisis. The rating agencies were in bed with the sellers, with the bond sales. This doesn't smell right, folks. There's something happening. And I'm just going to suggest that you don't stick around and see what happens next. I'd start looking to get the heck out of Dodge. Because when artificial tampering starts getting engaged with the market, it doesn't end well for the people who are heavily invested in that area. It hits you first. And if it's big enough, it hits everyone. But you will be the first to feel the brunt. I'm going to keep following this story for you folks. I'm going to keep providing updates. But that's all for tonight. If you haven't visited my online store, please do and see what I have for sale. There's a special collection of Dreamer supporting clothing. And proceeds from the sale of those specific shirts, just those specific shirts, will go to help fund advocates and organizations pushing the DREAM Act. We got to help get these dreamers to stay here, folks. But also, there are hoodies for sale in the store, and I got to tell you, they are quite comfortable. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will meet you all back here on Friday. Have a great night.
epicenter for everything that is political and American. You're listening to The Garrison Douglas Show.